As a human race, we've always set limits for ourselves. There's always been a fine line between right and wrong. And despite some cases, we've usually agreed that there should be a punishment when you cross this said line. But where most of the controversies lie is what should be the extremity of these punishments? As a society, should we have any mercy on these individuals? The first prison ever recorded was in ancient Egypt in 1st millennia BC. At the time, they wouldn't hesitate before giving someone a death penalty for the most randomest of offenses. When prisons were first created, they were used as an area to hold prisoners until they were brutally killed. But as time passed, prison became more of a place where criminals could stay indefinitely. Soon, other cultures began using this idea of prison. Prison's atmosphere was considered to be dark and gloomy. Jail began having a reputation for being a place where its inmates were treated horribly. This reputation was caused by rumors of horrible disciplinary strategies that were used on inmates. One famous punishment that took place in prison was the treadmill. Now, this wasn't your everyday treadmill at your local gym. The treadmill was a device that was operated by humans that had to push a lever on small steps surrounding a wheel that would create rise. Other prisons used their prisoners as slaves and made them do labor involving work for the government. In order for the raft to be used, all four of the victims' limbs should be tied to rollers at the end of the device, arms with arms and legs with legs. The rollers are then slowly pushed back by pulleys and levers. This process stretches the victim's limbs until they eventually dislocate and are left in unbearable pain. There are still prisons today that believe that prison guards have the right to abuse the prisoners and that their lives don't matter. And then there's one of the most famous of punishments, solitary confinement. Solitary confinement is a state of being completely isolated or being alone for several hours upon days upon months. This state is known for being one of the most torturous experiences a man has ever had to undergo. Sam Mendes was only 18 when he was convicted for murder. Guilty or not, Mendes is going to live the rest of his life behind bars for the murder of Frida Winter. Sam was sentenced to life in prison, including 16 years in solitary confinement. When Sam was first incarcerated, he was not known to be mentally ill, but as the years passed, his mental health slowly began to diminish. He grew quieter and quieter as his privilege of being an active part of society was taken away. Then, Sam began claiming the most random of stuff. Mendes claimed that he was a Green Beret, an architect, married to Lisa Chapman, and that he was the father of 11. The doctors at the prison became alarmed for Sam and requested that he take a few mental health tests. The test showed that Sam was suffering with 4 different mental illnesses, ranging from schizophrenia to psychosis. Sam has recently received a new sentence where he possibly may leave prison as soon as of June 2023. This is a key example of what solitary confinement can do to your brain. There are even cases of prisoners doing anything to escape said situations, including escape attempts involving hamburgers, contortion, undercover inspections, and etc. Prisons have adapted to these outrageous plans with the solution of isolated location on islands, the most famous of which, Alcatraz, despite its failures of keeping its prisoners confined. With cases like these coming out every day, it sparks the question whether solitary confinement is really the best path for an inmate to get back on their feet. In Norway, prisons have begun giving the incarcerated more freedom and liberality, and this change already has been having an effect on the prisoners. In the US, the recidivism rate, the tendency of a convicted criminal to reoffend, is at an all-time high 44.7%, but in Norway, it is a whopping 20%. You have to ask yourself, is the prison system supposed to punish the prisoners or help them get back on their feet?